And you are on the platform, and it's time for Free Speech Fridays. A little bit different. Our sponsorship not has lapsed. It's come to an end, the sponsorship agreement we had for Free Speech Fridays. So I'm going to put a picture in here. This is one of the most entertaining and most listened to and most replayed segments on the platform. And a sponsorship slot is available for someone. If you want to associate your name, your brand, your business with honest, straight Kiwi talk and freedom of speech, there is an opportunity available to do so right now. All you've got to do is email sales@theplatform.kiwi. Sales@theplatform.kiwi. Talk to Jen, and a huge opportunity for you to be associated with one of, I think, our best bits of content here on the platform. And it is time for the first Free Speech Friday of 2025. We're joined by the old retainer, Alistair Boyce. Boycey from the backbencher. How are you, mate?
G'day, Sean. Happy New Year.
Good to talk to you. And from Auckland, Maurice Williamson. How are you, Maurice?
I'm very well, thanks. And part of your speech for trying to get a sponsor, you should have said, from time to time features a clapped-out old politician who's now a local body politician.
Now, Maurice, I need to ask you.
Really attractive to a sponsor, that would be.
Did you ever go to Ratana? And what the hell, why do they all run off to Ratana at the start of every year?
I don't know. I got called by Don Brash one morning. He was the leader at that time, and he said, I desperately need to have some people with me. Can you make it to Ratana today? And I said, yes, I probably could get a flight to Wanganui and then get a cab or something. And I met up with them and I went. I don't quite know why I was there. I don't know quite what purpose I served. And on the way home, don't know the reason I was even bothered to be there. So,
yeah, it does seem strange. Alice, can you figure it out?
The Ratana thing?
Yeah.
I just think it's some sort of New Zealand tradition that barely warrants the attention it gets.
It's sort of like it's like Waitangi without the dildos.
Yeah, it's the spiritual version, the white man's version.
Or the mud.
Yeah. By the way, guys,
Can I just quickly check though? It's to do with a prophet.
Yeah, no, it's a cult. It's sort of like Gloriavale for Maoris. Some guy, they made up their own religion. The iconography and stuff is really quite interesting. It features sort of naive artwork and stuff. And I've been to sort of the marae there when no one was around and looked around. It's a really spooky place. And it's about brass bands. It's about coronets and brass bands and tubas.
Got it. Okay.
And that's all I can tell you. But look, more importantly, guys, we're just going to play something for you. I want to see if you recognise this sound. Do you know what that sound is, guys?
It's certainly one backbencher I can tell you about. But
okay, look, that is the sound.
No. The trees in my backyard have responded. They're growing bigger and greener all as I stand here. That's got to be whale music.
Okay, it is whale song.
AI-enhanced whale music.
Yeah, that's right. That's the sound of health for your average kauri tree, apparently. That's the sound of $4 million of taxpayers' dollars.
Blown, absolutely blown.
Look, Boise, could you believe this one? I think it's...
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
With the Labor government and, the whole disaster of going through COVID, all these things got overlooked and everyone was off on their own tangents, and the Maori Tanga thing took hold and took over and is endemic all through government institutions, and then you get things like this come up, and then they're paying themselves money to come up with this sort of stuff. They think they're some sort of gurus and musicians and cast spells.
Well, as Ben pointed out, he said obviously someone asked the Kauris what they'd like to listen to, and they misheard the response, which was Bob Marley and the Wailers.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Boom, boom. Look, Maurice, while we're on Kauri Friday, While we're on
I'll
kauri
tell you what.
dieback, there's a story doing the rounds that there is no real science behind the idea that people walking close to kauri trees, is a vector for kauri dieback disease, and all the stuff out in the Waitakaris about closing them down and building the elevated walkways is just a massive waste of money.
Well, I'll always let science make the comments because that's what I will listen to. Just going back to the Maori using the whales because evidently whales and kauri trees were one and the same until the land.
I often confuse the two.
You can. It's easy
I
to do,
often go, look at that, great whales up there in the Waitakaris. And equally,
the guys behind.
That's a kauri branching off the coast of Kaikoura.
The guys behind this 4 million scam have been saying this. That it makes a world of difference what Maori science can deliver. And Richard Dawkins, the world famous scientist, was right. He said, if Maori have specific science things that are proven and work, the whole world would have adopted it by now, as we've adopted Einstein stuff or Marie Curie stuff and so on. So this idea that there is this wonderful Maori science, but nobody has ever seen of any value to it at all, it just makes it ridiculous. So we spend $4 million of hard-earned taxpayers' money playing whale music to trees. Come on, let's get real.
Yeah. All right. Not as crazy, though, Boyce, as throwing a gig. You'd never throw a gig at the backbencher where you had a differentiated ticket price given your ethnic background, would you?
I wouldn't go along with that. I'm quite appalled at that. But again, it's the result of this infiltration of spurious Maori tanga and ethnic content and value that has to be added into all parts of our life and social life and government institutions. We're just got to get back to David Seymour's everyone equal before the law and everyone treated equally, and everyone can have a true and meaningful life and their own terms without inflicting it on everyone else.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, Maurice, that story which Chris Lynch covered in Chris Lynch media, mainstream media, didn't get that into it. We got Melissa Darby, the new Race Relations Commissioner, on once we could get through her woke bureaucratic gatekeepers. And boy, I don't know if you heard the interview, Maurice, she was a breath of fresh air, a completely different approach to race relations, and that is that everyone's got the same rights.
Correct. And how can you argue against it? I mean, every time I say everybody should be treated the same and have the same rights, or if you are going to target assistance, it must be on need. If you are a poor
well, that's because you're a post-colonial racist, Maurice. And
I get that. I know, and a dinosaur and several other things. But I mean, in the end, I would have thought being a racist was where you wanted to pick one group based on their race and give them preference over somebody else. And so I don't consider myself a racist. I want everybody to have same rights and the same ticket price. Yeah,
well, Boyce, did you hear Melissa Darby? She was a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, I did. That was so heartening to get that. And you remember everything we went through. You were interviewing them in the years gone by. So to have this woman who really just rationalises it out to what it should be, and intelligent and equality, everything, hitting all the right buttons for me and all the right values.
Good on her, absolutely. And we had quite some.
Go back to a few Ming Foon interviews and hear some of the crap that used to come from him about.
I'm still going to give Ming this, though, guys. Ming always fronted.
Okay.
You know, he was one of the people.
He might have fronted, but he didn't make any sense, Sean.
But I'll tell you what, we had. So the person who's been running public relations, strangely enough, for the Race Relations Commissioner, is a former editorial writer for The Spin-Off. And Ben had found that the people we were dealing at the Human Rights Commission office, oh no, she's dreadfully busy, and she got appointed in view. She couldn't talk to you till the new year. Now, I didn't tell them, and I didn't tell Ben. I'd met her at a function in, I think, October, November. She said, sure, October. When I take office, we'll do it. I'll come and do an interview. And we were getting the bum's rush on Monday, and I got her number and I rang her. She said, sure, I'll come on. And the bloody bureaucrats,
brilliant,
had clearly not been passing on any requests, and had been stymieing our attempts to talk to her, probably because they're left-wing, if you work for the spin-off, you're somewhere left of Karl Marx, probably.
Except hopefully what she would have done when she went back to the office is called them in and said, right, that never happens again. You ever have a request in for an interview for me, you put it in front of me, you put it on my desk. If I find you've ever shielded me from one of those requests, you're going to pick up your payslip and back off.
All right. Look, should we have the break? We'll have the break now, and then we'll get into the sort of start of the year in politics.